Hello, friends, and welcome to the Sophia Spring Salon. I'm Carolyn Murray, and welcome to our audience at 20 South Battery, as well as those who are joining us virtually. Friends, I don't think there really is anyone in this room whom I don't know, or perhaps haven't broken bread with, or raised a toast for, or certainly prayed for. This is an incredible gathering of kindred spirits, and tonight we will enjoy an evening that is filled with celebration, connection, and certainly inspiration. I'm so happy to see each of you this afternoon. We are gathering not just to mark another year, but also to honor the heart and soul of a community that believes in the incredible power of feminine wisdom. And enduring strength, when partnered with the masculine, can truly, I believe, transform our world. And what a journey it has been for us. Thanks to the unwavering support, I call her the real deal, Carolyn Rivers, faculty and supporters, and of course our friends, such as each of you in this room today. We are proudly celebrating 24 years, making a meaningful impact, touching lives, and certainly fostering hope. At the Sophia Institute, our mission is certainly a love letter to the feminine spirit, an invitation for it to rise in harmony with the masculine and well-being. We believe that when these energies dance together, we create a more just, regenerative, and spiritually fulfilling world, a world where everyone can flourish. And whether you are joining us in person here at 20 South Battery or virtually, your presence tonight is a very vital part of this ripple effect. Tonight's gathering also promises compelling stories. And we've got an amazing group of inspiring speakers. We have lively entertainment as well. And we hope that if you have not already enjoyed or had an opportunity to meet Zandrina and Stephen, that you will do that tonight. This is all in the spirit of nurturing personal growth and collective awakening. This is a celebration of the feminine's radiant power. There will be lots of humor throughout our time together, and of course, we will share the power of resilience, reminding us that true strength is often gentle, sometimes it's silent, but it is always unstoppable. So as we come together in this warm, it is Charleston, joyful space, let us celebrate not only what we've achieved, but also the incredible potential that lies ahead. There is no one better who will land this plane at the end of this evening than our friend Sandy Morkel. You will hear from Sandy in just a bit. So here's to empowering each other, lifting each other up, and creating a more beautiful, equitable world. Because when women rise, everyone rises. A wise person once said, "Love is what we are born with, fear is what we have learned here." Yeah, the wisdom and courage to keep moving forward. Those words from our friend Mary Ann Williamson. What an incredible opportunity to hear her voice again tonight. So once again, friends, thank you so much for being a part of this extraordinary journey. Let's make this night unforgettable. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce Zoe Hanger, the Sophia Institute's Director of Operations. She will recite a poem for us by the mystic Khalil Gibran that explores the relationship between the soul and the self and the longing for unity with the greater divine.
Thank you, Carolyn, and thank you, Carolyn. In the depth of my soul, there is a wordless song, a song that lives in the seed of my heart. It refuses to melt with ink on parchment. It engulfs my affection in a transparent cloak and flows, but not upon my lips. How can I sigh it? I fear it may mingle with earthly ether. To whom shall I sing it? It dwells in the house of my soul, in fear of harsh ears. When I look into my inner eyes, I see the shadow of its shadow. When I touch my fingertips, I feel its vibrations. The deeds of my hands heed its presence, as a lake must reflect the glittering stars. My tears reveal it, as bright drops of dew reveal the secret of a withering rose. It is a song composed by contemplation and published by silence and shunned by clamor and folded by truth and repeated by dreams and understood by love and hidden by awakening and sung by the soul. It is a song of love. What Cain or Esau could sing it? It's more fragrant than jasmine. What voice could enslave it? It's heartbound as a virgin's secret. What string could quiver it? Who dares unite the roar of the sea and the singing of the nightingale? Who dares compare the shrieking tempest to the sigh of an infant? Who dares say aloud the words intended for the heart to speak? What human dares sing in voice the song of God?
Zoe, you are phenomenal. Thank you all so much. Allow yourself to meditate to the words of this song. One day I'll hear the laugh of children in a world where war has been banned. One day I'll see the men of all colors sharing words of love and devotion. Stand up and feel the Holy Spirit. Find the power of your faith. Hope in your heart to those who need you. In the name of love and devotion. Yes, I believe. I believe in the people of all nations to join and to care for love. I believe in a world where light will guide us, and giving our love will make where light will guide us, and giving our love, we'll make heaven on earth.
Thank you, Zandrina and Stephen, so much. Wow, that was lovely. We continue our program now with a look back. As we continue to look forward, we know that there has been a lot of progress, a lot of success. And so we ask you to turn your attention to the video screen, and we will see what we have done as an organization, as a movement since 2001.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Rivers, founder and director of Sophia Institute. It's been a joy for me to put together this retrospective of Sophia Institute since our inception in 2001, snippets of things we've done in the past and faculty who've been with us for years, and new work that we've just done. So some of you've been with us for a long time, and maybe it will be joyfully familiar to you. Others of you, however, are learning about our work for the first time. And we invite you to learn where we've been, and you'll know more about where we are now, having joined recent work. So together, we're doing our part for the rise of the feminine, cultivating wisdom, mindfulness, well-being, love at the center of life, for a more just, regenerative, spiritually fulfilling world for all people. A world in Renaissance expresses the vastness of the human potential. That's what we're investing in at Sophia Institute. We know we're living in a time of great evolutionary shift, a time potentially of a breakthrough of a new consciousness. We're now in the phase of breakdown, no question about that, in the chaotic phase of it. Yet we're holding forth the vision for a more egalitarian world, a world where the feminine and masculine come into balance, and women and men are in true partnership to solve the problems of our day from a mindset that didn't create the problems, a mindset that can solve those problems. That's what we are investing our work in at Sophia Institute, and we love it when you're with us. We love all you do to help us now do what we can to make the world a better place.
As we face new challenges in a world in transformation, we're holding the belief that together we can create a more conscious world, one in Renaissance that expresses the vastness of the human potential. The vision of Sophia Institute is a world that could be called a wisdom society, a 21st century that could be called Sophia Century, a compassionate global community where wholeness and wisdom, integration, peace, oneness, sustainability, the conscious feminine and masculine are at the center of life.
It's about the change that I see coming over the faces of the people who attend these programs as they open their minds and hearts to new perspectives and new visions that might actually change and heal this world.
The Sophia Institute is such a sacred grove, a source and beacon in today's world for transformation and spiritual growth. It's a gathering place for those on the journey, a place committed to awakening the conscious heart in all of us. In my time here, I've seen this happen. The Sophia Institute works like a greenhouse for the soul.
Sophia is a focal point for a powerful form of conversation, a transformative conversation that gets beneath the surface of things, away from the periphery and down to the hub of life.
We are trying to reimagine the human experience, and to do that in ways that value both the masculine and the feminine in this beautiful balance and integration.
Now this place, the Sophia Institute, the joining of some of the finest minds of our time, with the deepest issues of our time. The bringing together of the wisdom traditions of millennia. This happens here, this happens now.
The work of the Sophia Institute is much to be commended now, for at this time what is happening is that two worlds seem to be colliding. One world is clearly falling apart and another world is trying to be born. And that which is trying to be born is a world of unity, is a world of shared humanity. And places like the Sophia Institute are the midwives. Places like Sophia Institute are filled with people and is preparing people to be the conduits, to be the channels, to be the co-creators of this new culture.
And I suggest that that metaphor is what's going on for our species right now. If we know that we're giving birth to a new way of being, a new kind of human being, a human being that's not born of the patriarchy that we're trying to disengage from, but born of the balance of the masculine and feminine, born of the soil of divine wisdom, born of this 21st century, the first century and the third millennium, this century which Carolyn and I and many of us call the Sophia century, the century when women will take our rightful role in co-equal partnership with men and the world will come into balance.
Dr. Jude Carvin, Dr. Anne Baring were two of our four speakers in our series, Cultivating a Wisdom Society for Our World in Transformation. Dr. Carvin is a cosmologist, a quantum physicist. Dr. Baring, a Jungian analyst and author.
We belong. We belong with the whole world. We belong with the whole universe. We belong with the whole cosmos. We belong. We don't have to be invited to join this party because we belong here and now, and we are embodied, microcosmic, divine beings on the bow wave of the evolutionary impulse of our entire universe. This is the cosmology that the leading edge evidence is now converging with universal wisdom teachings. You know, Sophia is the goddess of wisdom. Philosophia is the love of wisdom. When we awaken to this understanding, we're entering into a love affair, a love with our entire universe, with our planetary home, with each other. Because for me, what love is about is a realization there is no separation.
We've lost it through this materialist ideology that we've been stuck in for 300 years, which has had its advantages, but it's given us a totally wrong view of what our life is about and what the universe is about, because it taught the philosophy of separation, which, as Annalos and Jude have been saying, is all wrong, and we are one. And this is the revelation that's coming in now, that we are one with the divinity of the universe, and we can't be separated from it. It's just the most marvelous revelation. At the end, in the last chapter, I said, light and love are the pulse of the universe. Light and love are the pulse of the universe. And that is something that we can actually feel with our hearts, that our heart is beating in time.
The whole point of the spiritual path is to bring us all the way home to the peace, the freedom, the joy, the love that we truly are. While we might still be getting caught up and pounded in that infinite ocean here and there, you know, we need to all start just accepting where we find ourselves. We start discovering that underneath those pounding waves in the infinite ocean of samsara, there's a parallel experience of the ocean that we didn't see at first. And it's an ocean full of grace and possibility, beauty, wonder.
Dr. Sue Morter is author of The Energy Codes. Her work is traveling around the world now as she does superb work in embodying the soulful self and advancing human consciousness on the planet.
You are meant to awaken as a master of your life experience, that you are here as a creator, as at the very least co-creating, but to take on more of a creatorship role is really what I want to enhance in our regular understanding of life. That there is another role, a third stage that we can move into that allows us to truly experience the full capacity. And so our conversation today is about embodying the soulful self and really tapping into our full potential as a human being.
Dr. Jeffrey Rediger, professor at Harvard University Medical School, Masters of Divinity from Princeton, is the author of the book Cured. He spent 19 years researching people he calls Olympians of healing who had terminal diagnoses and who recovered. He explains the 4 pillars for healing, which we discussed and addressed in this series that we did just recently.
These mysteries just are endlessly fascinating to me, and the signs of where our work should be. Now, this healing of identity there's a lot to this, of the stories that I studied. That's a really clear example of what we're trying to get at here. He gets told he's going to die. He has 6 months to live. And then his response is, wow, if I've got 6 months to live, I guess I don't need to take over the family business like Dad's putting pressure on me to do. So he decides he's going to do what the hell he wants to do for the next 6 months. And instead of living a life built around the expectations of his family, he begins to live a life that's more authentic to him. And then time began to go by. And that's how these things work more often than you would think, that people begin to live a more authentic life. And even though they're preparing to die, that becomes the doorway into the possibilities of a different life. Most spirituality is this idea that we need to die in order to live, we need to be last in order to be first, we need to go down in order to go up. And I think that's really apparent in this research, that sometimes we have to die to our old self so that a more authentic self can come forward and have more expression in our lives.
In our series, End of Life and Life After Life, Dr. Aditi Sethi, hospice and palliative care physician, end-of-life doula, and the executive director of the Center for Conscious Living and Dying, shared much with us.
One of the most powerful experiences I've ever had, just that presence, that degree, that level of presence. And I feel many people, whether they're conscious of it or not, or have prepared for that moment to be at the bedside of someone crossing or not, they get a taste of that presence. That portal is so open, and it's so precious.
Our series in February, Revealing Our True Home, Behind the Veil, Exploration of the Other Side, from near-death experiencers. Nancy Ron, introduced to us by Caroline Mays.
What I experienced was an amazingly huge level of consciousness, awareness. And I woke up, or at least I felt like I was awake, but I was more awake really than I had ever been in this lifetime. And I found myself in a state of being in what to me looked like a place that was beautiful and loving and connected and supportive in a way that I had never felt here. Now, it took me a while to realize that this wasn't some kind of a hallucination, because the interesting part was that my thinking was hyper clear, and I was hyper rational and almost hyper logical. At the same time, I was feeling and sensing all of this amazing love and peace coming into my body and coming into my soul, really. And that's when I began to realize I wasn't dreaming, I wasn't hallucinating, that this was more real than reality, what we would call reality here on earth. But it was such a loving place, and there was a loving presence there, an accepting presence, that I finally remembered that was home. I was there long enough to realize, oh yeah, this is home. That's why we called this class Revealing Our True Home.
Dr. Lori Mandikik joined us earlier in the year as she is a colleague of Dr. Sue Morter, also teaching the energy codes and embodying the true self.
Be patient with yourself, and most of all, be really loving with yourself. Maybe play with the loving presence one, where you created the love yourself whenever you feel, but allow it to be in your body. And when you're in your channel, be loving, be present, be on subject, be on yourself, because you are all beautiful. And we are all in the phase of remembering the truth of who we are. And the more we do this, the more we remember, the better we feel, the more love comes easily, the more my mind will let go more easily. It just becomes, life becomes easier. My life, I said before, is better than I ever dreamed it could be, ever. So I hold that for all of you, and with such great joy and gratitude for each one of you.
Social Justice Racial Equity Collaborative, convened by Sophia Institute, is 7 years now into our work.
So this work of being the architect of RX Racial Healing Circles and the Truth Racial Healing and Transformation Movement in the United States. Give you Dr. Gail Christopher.
The goal is to transform the ethos, the spirit of this nation, to one that no longer allows adherence to the antiquated fallacy of a hierarchy of human value.
Institutes like Sophia Institute can serve as bridges between the old ways of doing things and the new. At Sophia Institute, we are envisioning a 21st century that could be called a wisdom society, a much more just, sustainable, spiritually fulfilling, conscious world that holds the sacred at the center of life.
But truly, that was amazing to see the work that you have done, and it was wonderful. I'm so happy that we'll have an opportunity to discuss in just a few minutes some of what we've seen, and you can share your personal stories of how some of these opportunities have changed your life and what you have brought to many of these conversations. It is my pleasure to introduce my dear friend, Rosanna McDaniel. She's the coordinator of programs and communications for the Social Justice Racial Equity Collaborative convened by the Sophia Institute. Rosanna.
Thank you. So, yeah, I just want to tell you a little bit about the Social Justice Racial Equity Collaborative, for those who may not know. At our core, the SJREC is about building bridges between individuals, communities, and systems to advance racial equity and social transformation. We were founded here in Charleston, South Carolina, a place with a deep and complex history. And our work acknowledges that healing and justice must be rooted in truth, community, and action, as you heard from Dr. Gail Christopher. The SJREC was born from a recognition that personal and collective healing must be held together, that to move toward justice, we need both truth and tenderness, both systems change and soul care. At SJREC, we create spaces where people can come together across differences and experience, to tell the truth, to listen deeply, and to imagine what healing can look like at the level of community. It is the sacred labor of weaving a new social fabric, and we do this through a variety of programs. Our community circles, formerly racial healing circles, are rooted in principles of dignity, presence, and belonging. Our Living Your Truth forums uplift stories of courage, people living in alignment with what matters most, often in the face of injustice. And through public gatherings, relationship building, and the quiet, behind-the-scenes facilitation, we try to restore not just justice, but connection. We believe that the work of racial equity is not just about reform, it is about remembering our interconnection, remembering our collective responsibility, remembering what becomes possible when we root down in love and rise into action. We also serve as a connector, or a bridge, if you will, to generate alignment between engagement partners, grassroots organizers, faith leaders, educators, institutions, and city officials to strengthen collaboration and center the wisdom of those most impacted by injustice. Our goal is not only to create moments of awareness, but to build momentum toward lasting change. We believe that equity work is about restoring wholeness to communities, and that begins with listening and learning and building relationships that are rooted in care, respect, and accountability. We're proud of what we've accomplished so far, and we know there's so much more to do. So we thank you for joining this vital work. And then as an aside, we will be having a summit in the fall. And that summit brings together community members, it brings together organizers, it brings together institutional leaders. You'll get to experience an actual community circle, and you'll also get to be in meaningful conversation and hopefully begin to build relationships with those who are out here doing this work to create the world we've yet to see. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Drusana. It's my pleasure to introduce Marianne Williamson and also to share part of a letter she received. Marianne Williamson is a celebrated spiritual teacher, author, and activist known for her work in personal transformation and social renewal. Her best-selling books include A Return to Love and Law of Divine Compensation. Draw deeply from A Course in Miracles, emphasizing love, forgiveness, and the power of inner change. Founder of Project Angel Food and a lifelong advocate for spiritual activism, Marianne inspires individuals and communities to embody compassion, conscious leadership, and collective healing. She is not with us tonight because her granddaughter was born early today, or was it yesterday? Just a few days ago. And so she is with her family in England, and we certainly wish them all very well. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the letter. My second grandchild was just born to her parents now living in England. Little Victoria will see sky and sunlight and flowers and grass and beach and mountains where she will be held in the arms of family who adore her. Beginning her human journey, very blessed to be loved, and she will be loved. Not yet a full day old, she comes bearing, as does every child, great gifts for the world. My daughter described her as delicious. I describe her as a miracle, and of course, she is both. I give thanks so deeply tonight that my daughter has become the woman she is, manifesting the life she lives with the family she and her husband have created. Life does indeed go on, generation after generation. The thread of time runs through all things. God, in his awesomeness, wills that it be so. My prayer is that every child might be as fortunate as little Victoria, to be loved as she is loved. May every child be safe and kept far away from harm. May our darling Victoria grow up someday to be a woman who herself carries on that thread, contributing to life and experiencing all the blessings that it holds. Dear God, bless every child. Make the world for all of them a place as perfect and as beautiful as they. Amen.
Hey, I am so sorry that I can't be with you in person for the Sophia Institute Spring event, the salon in which you are discussing veil to vision, this idea of the transformation of really one world to another. I'm glad, however, to pour my thoughts into the collective field of what you're all discussing. In A Course in Miracles, it says that an idea grows stronger when it is shared. And I can't think of anything more important for all of us to do than to strengthen the thoughts. Number one, that we're headed for something even better than ever. And number two, that we, with our thoughts, can create and foster that transformation. Carolyn and I were talking the other day about that image of the disintegrating caterpillar and its transformation into the butterfly. You know, when the caterpillar disintegrates, it disintegrates into what's called an imaginal soup. Can you believe? Scientists actually use that expression, the imaginal cells, out of which will ultimately come the butterfly. More beautiful, obviously, than the caterpillar. The caterpillar creeps around the earth, and yet the butterfly flies off. And that's really what we as a human race are experiencing right now, the growth of our own wings, our spiritual wings, the capacity to fly above the limited thought form spheres of this world. Out of that period of transformation, the period when the butterfly is preparing itself, the becoming is happening, it's within this chrysalis. And I think that chrysalis is the container for all of us right now, what we are living through in our lives. Now, there's nothing to indicate that it's particularly difficult for the imaginal cells, but it is certainly difficult for us because we are beings of free will. And I've been saying for a long time that we're living in these two parallel universes. One is a world that is crumbling, clearly disintegrating, and there's another world, and that is that which is struggling to be born. And all of us are imaginal selves. All of us carry the coding of that which is disintegrating as well as that which is struggling to be born, that which is emergent. Each and every one of us right now, it's like in a hologram. If you cut a hologram into a lot of pieces, you don't get different aspects of the picture of the original hologram. You get the entirety of the picture in the hologram that is repeated within every individual piece. This is a difficult time in the world, and it is similarly a difficult time for many of us who are living here. The events of our current situation, circumstances in this country and around the world are putting all of us through the paces. And many of the things that are happening in our own personal lives are also challenging us. You know, like every situation is this. It's just that right now it's so magnified. Every situation, every encounter, every circumstance is both an invitation and a challenge to be the better version of possibility for us in this lifetime, as well as a challenge to just fall back into the ego default positions. The ego default positions for most of us are such that we have survived. We maybe haven't been functional, we might have even been dysfunctional in those areas, but we were surviving. And that, I think, is the real opportunity of events like Veil to Vision, of events like the Sophia Institute Spring Salon, that you can be in this sacred space with yourself and with others and allow yourself to do the deep inquiry. What are the aspects of myself that are the caterpillar? Because until that caterpillar in me dies, I cannot be the butterfly. And one of the reasons it's such a difficult thing is because circumstances arise which show you, you're going to play this like you used to, you're going to play it like you could. I had something happen in my own life this morning, and my reaction to it, I went, wow. My reaction to it, informed by past hurts and triggers, would lead me on a trajectory to outcome that just repeats the pattern of suffering. And I realized that's all that's happening in any moment, in any circumstance. Play it differently this time. Choose again. That's the difference between us and the caterpillar. We have free will. We're human beings. We have choice involved here. You want to be a caterpillar? Then you can't be you want to be a butterfly? You can't be the caterpillar anymore. What is a caterpillar? The needy you, The hurt you, the victim you, the controlling you, the angry, whatever, everybody's is different, and yet it's all the same drama. It's the patterns of fear that, yes, arose from whatever wound, childhood, adulthood, whatever, and it's the woundings of the society, and they have become our mental habit patterns. And if we continue with them, both personally and globally, if we continue with those patterns, we will continue to produce the same results. Imagine a different you. Imagine yourself playing it differently. In my case, it was, instead of saying, well, no, or coming up, it was, sure, that sounds great. Sometimes it's these little things that other people couldn't possibly realize. Well, that was a big shift. Because I think what happens is that we come to the point of realizing we're all wounded. The issue is whether or not to live from the wound, play it from the wound, act from the wound. Act from the wound, remain a caterpillar. And by the way, the caterpillar is going to die either way. The issue is that part of you is going to fall away. As the Course would say, it's going to fall away through joy or it's going to fall away through pain. We have the opportunity now to fly above all of this. When a species is displaying collective patterns of behavior that are maladaptive for the survival of the species, one of two things is going to happen. It's either going to evolve or it's going to go extinct. And it evolves when a mutation occurs. Now that brings up a lot of spiritual issues. In our time, regardless of the wording, the religious or spiritual or psychological perspectives that we put around this field of mutation, we know that it's collective and that it is our choice to participate in it. When we participate in our own evolution, we are also attracting greater possibilities for relationships, participation, and harmony with other people who are doing the same. That's so important right now. We don't need a majority, we need a critical mass. And anytime people join together to do that work, it increases the frequency, increases the speed by which it happens. That's why this Spring Salon is important. That's why the Sophia Institute, any situations like this are important. It's kind of a battery charge. Go out there, dwell at a sort of higher frequency because you're here for this event. And I'm honored to be part of it. So thank you, Carolyn. And I know I speak for everyone, Carolyn, who is here at this event. You're one impressive woman. God bless you, everybody. Have a wonderful time.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carolyn Rivers.
Well, thank you, friends. It really does something to me to go through so much archival information, to pull snippets out that we can share with you. Snippets through since 2001 and our inception. And then to find the nuggets and the new work that we're doing. So some of you are newly with us for the first time and know nothing about that history. And then others of you have been with us for so many years, and we are so happy about that. And we want you to understand the progress we've been making through time. We want to thank Dr. Jack Schaefer for his gracious welcome to be back here at 20 South Battery, and we want to thank each of you for being here to celebrate ourselves, our community, our work together. This amazing time we're in right now. Many of you are joining us not only in the room, but also virtually, and we say hello to you virtually who are here with us as well, and the rest of you who will be joining us through the recording that will come your way. So we want to thank, too, our board members. Some of you, past and present, are here. You've given phenomenal service to Sophia Institute, and we're very grateful to you. So raise your hand if you're currently here as a board member, and those on Zoom, yes. And our participants who join us from all 50 states, not only from Charleston, our home base, and from 47 other countries. And we're so grateful, too. You saw many of our faculty here on the video that we did for you. award-winning authors, spiritual teachers, thought leaders, people we've grown to love and deeply value. We appreciate Marianne Williamson, even with the birth of her grandbaby early, finding time to even create this video. She could have said, I'm so sorry, you'll need to find someone else, but she didn't. And we had this late night conversation about metamorphosis, really saying that analogy of where is appropriate for where we are now in the world. And as many of us are searching, right-sizing where we are in the world, I think that analogy fits so well. So she is in England tonight, in the countryside of England, beautiful England to our English friends here, outside of London, where it's midnight. So she might be plugging in, but she didn't feel like she could really talk to us as effectively as she might want to. I do have resonance with this idea of us being in metamorphosis, us being in the chrysalis stage of that, where we are, the codes that we're carrying are being activated for us to take our own evolutionary leap. We've been saying this for a while at Sophia Institute, that it's coming, but we never knew it was going to look quite like this, and who knew what it was going to look like? But here we are now, in the space of vision and possibility. So we've been saying for a long time, we're in a time of breakdown for the breakthrough of a new consciousness, one that carries the feminine and integrates it with the masculine, and out of that union, a consciousness is forming that is more just and compassionate, more wise and loving, one that activates the gifts and capacities in each of us. So maybe you're hearing that a lot tonight, but it is our swan song, and one that we have been offering so many programs around. So we've come recently to understand that we're living in a sentient universe, a consciousness that is supported by a sentient universe. The science of consciousness and the science of cosmology are now making that evident. Who knew that? It sources us with love and with wisdom. We need only to be receptive to it. It's exciting that evidence-based science now brings together what the wisdom traditions have been saying for so long. And some of you are deeply engaged in those wisdom traditions. You saw Dr. Jude Curran, who is from UK, a quantum physicist and cosmologist, speak to this on our video. She was with us for our convocation I mentioned earlier on the video, Cultivating a Wisdom Society for Our World in Transformation. We think that cultivating that is one of the most socially just things that we can do. She says that in this time, supported by a sentient cosmos, there's an even greater potential for our own conscious evolution and our advancement in our own multidimensionality. It's a choice we can make. Dr. Anne Baring, also from UK, whom you saw on the video, is author of one of my favorite books of all times, a book called Dreams of the Cosmos. And she says in that book, I'm just quoting now, the writings of the world's greatest mystics and spiritual teachers affirm that light and love are the fundamental principles of the universe. Were you taught that in science class? She calls it a marvelous revelation. I agree, don't you? Just at the time we're learning all of this and wondering how we might live into it, we meet Dr. Sue Morter. I'm very, very excited to bring her and her phenomenal energy codes work and training to the Sophia Institute, as well as her wonderful colleague, Dr. Lori Mandikik, also on our video. The Energy Codes training is centered in embodying our true self, and working with the energy codes and systems within our body to advance our consciousness, our multidimensionality, and to anchor the great love that is available to us from our sentient universe, from God and Goddess, boundless love as the animating force of the universe. In our series with near-death experiencers, they tell us that love is ever present on the other side of the veil.
as Nancy Rhines, who was a scientist and skeptic before her near-death experience, shares with us on this video too. As a near-death experiencer, she's returned to advocate for this new understanding. Sophia Institute works out of a principle of wholeness and an understanding of our common humanity. And we're applying these Sophia principles to social justice, racial equity work in our community. Now, Drew has told us about that work well, so I'm not going to say anything further today. But we do, as Drew has already done, invite you to our summit to learn much more about that soon. We're escalating what we're learning now in this unprecedented time about advancing our consciousness, doing our part, an activist part, to cultivate a wisdom society for our world in this chaotic phase of change we're now in, to cultivate the potential for humanity to transform and take a leap in consciousness now. As Einstein says, and I'm paraphrasing, the mindset that created the problems is not the mindset that will solve them. We're cultivating a heart-centered awareness that can benefit us now and our children, grandchildren, and future generations. This is our work at the Sophia Institute as we're moving into our third decade and our vision for the 21st century. Thanks to you, our Spring Salon each year raises what we need to support our operational costs not addressed by the tuitions that we carry and to help us sustain our work. So what we can do with your support is 5 key things I want to share with you. To fund these in-person and virtual offerings, we know that we need to live stream in-person work to our growing virtual community. And as I said, a community that comes to us not only from Charleston, but from all 50 states. And since the pandemic, from 47 different countries. They join us throughout the year, or wish to at least. The infrastructure that requires, and staff that requires this expertise is costly. And if you're interested, you can support us in doing this. To add on-demand courses too from our archival work going back to 2001. Some people now who did work then, all the work is quite timeless, and we want to be able to share it with you in on-demand courses. To do that, though, we'll need a new website, one that can handle on-demand courses, and that is on our wish list, something we'd like to do as soon as possible. And then to continue, of course, offering the current programs there. That will take much technical expertise too. I can assure you that is not my expertise. So your support can help us with this too. And then, of course, to continue what we've always done, to bring leading-edge thought leaders and spiritual teachers who are now on our faculty, and also invite new people, all of whom we've recently brought to you as new faculty. And to launch Sophia Circles, something that's been on our drawing board a little longer than we ever imagined it would be. But the time could not be better to actually launch it. Can you imagine how beneficial it would be to advance consciousness in our world, to cultivate a wisdom society in America, to have like-minded others meeting regularly in circles together in their respective cities across the country? And with our support, sourcing them with programmatic offerings. People often tell me when they land here in Charleston that they love being in our community here. But when they return to their home city, don't have a resource there to support them, or like-minded others that they even know. And when I ask them where they're from and look at their name tags, I often notice that we have people joining us from their cities. So I tell them that, whether Atlanta or Chicago or Charlotte or San Francisco, cities from all 50 states, and as I said, 47 other countries. Our board is eager for us to launch this now. We're feeling quite ready to do so. If you'd like to learn more about our plans, please speak to me afterwards or email us. If you're online and this is a vision you have to help weave people together around the country and around the world, give me a call and we'll talk about it. And then to support program expansion centered around the initiative Social Justice, Racial Equity Collaborative. This work is all tuition free. This is our time, our opportunity, our great privilege to do our part to usher in the transformative change the world needs now. A more socially just, environmentally regenerative, awakened human presence on our planet. We invite you to join us and support our work, to join us envisioning the possibilities before us, to join us in advancing human consciousness on our planet. Thank you.
So by now you've heard about the impact of the Sophia Institute. Founded in 2001, all those years, 24 years, guiding people to reimagine a world with heightened consciousness through their programs, the core programs of the Sophia Institute, and also the timely and important work of the Social Justice, Racial Equity Collaborative. In all that Sophia Institute does, we convene the capacities, the gifts, the talents of men and women, which are needed to find new solutions to the big issues of the day, especially in this day, and to chart a new course of gender and racial equality and the role of women in leadership in both the world and our environment. You know that Sophia is a 501c3 organization, but did you also know it's a social profit organization? Our work making the impact in the world a better place with a return on its investment. You've heard the things that the Sophia Institute wants to do, but needs your help to do it. And we're here today to be able to invite you to make that a possibility for your own gifts. With tuition covering just 45% of the cost, it's important that we continue to invest in this important community asset and to be able to expand that for new offerings. This is the time of the year when our supporters, each of you, be able to provide the opportunity to plan, to be able to commit, to be able to even expand the giving that you've already been doing. Many of you are longtime donors and continued donors, and we appreciate that support. It's the time that you can think about providing your own support as a tool for making the world a better place. This is the things that we can do and support and sustain and broaden this important work, which is really needed. As with every decision, it's completely voluntary. This is something that is in your heart, and only you can determine what role you can play. But this is our opportunity to consciously devote our collective resources to this, to assuring the sustainability and growth of this precious resource, the Sophia Institute. I'd like to ask our volunteers if they could pass out our forms, and we can walk through these together. And Larry, if you can put online, for those who are joining us online, if you can put the information from there.
So I invite you, all of you, everyone listening, to support the Sophia Institute with your heart, with your soul, with your participation, with your love, and with your financial resources. I am a huge advocate for the work of the Sophia Institute and proud and honored to be part of it. Please join me.
So if we can go back one level, there are pledge levels, and they're on your forms. There are pledge levels that you can see at different levels of giving, and some of you are giving at every one of those levels. And I want to encourage you to continue. For you new here, I want you to think about how you want to make your impact in the world, in the Sophia Institute, using this as a tool for your own giving. So if you are giving at a level that you have been giving at for several years, you may want to consider enlarging that gift and being able to stretch a little further because you know that this is a gift that will give a return on investment, that it is needed now more than ever with what is going on in the world. So you can make a one-time gift or a multi-year donation, and we encourage you to do that. You can also always go to thesophiainstitute.org/donate to give at any time and pass that on to others that you think might want to support. There are also other ways of being able to give. More of you are finding it helpful to give monthly donations, and that adds up. So those monthly donations are something that the Sophia Institute can count on for continuity, and it also allows you to give a larger gift, accumulatively by doing that. And there were several circles that you can give at that will recognize those monthly givers at those levels. So I want you to consider that Renaissance sponsor, recognizing those that give $25,000 annually, or the visionary sponsor or circle, recognizing those giving at the $10,000 level, or yearly or monthly allocations of $835 a month. Wisdom Circle at $5,000 or $420 a month. The Guardian Circle at $2,500 or $210 a month, and Unity Circle at the $1,000 annual level or $85 a month. I also want you to consider the opportunity to give, to think about leaving an estate gift to the Sophia Institute. In its 21 years of history, what better way to see the continuation of your gift long after you're gone, when new generations are being impacted by the work that the Sophia Institute is doing years from now. So I really want you to consider that as well. I think that, yes, and I do want you to consider perhaps a 3-year gift that will help the Sophia Institute plan for that future. So I do want to do that. So I want you to take the time to fill out that campaign form or that pledge form. And if you do want to include the Sophia Institute in your estate plan, please see me or Carolyn, and we can make sure that you get the information that you need for that. So I think that we're ready. Is Zoe, is it okay if Zoe collects those now, or do you want to collect those on the way out? Okay. Zoe, if you can go ahead and go through and any that are ready, and for those that need a little more time, we can always get them when they're coming out. So I'd like to turn it back over to Carolyn. Carolyn, to close us out, and I think we have one more treat left for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandy. Ladies and gentlemen, what an afternoon we've had, and there is, as we like to say, a lot more to come. But before we move on, I think that we are going to open the floor if anyone would like to add any additional comments. We know, again, that many of you have been a part of the founding of the Sophia Institute. So if anyone would like to come forward and share a personal story or an anecdote as to how you've been affected, supported, or how you see this organization move forward, we open the floor now to this. All right. Ann? Dr. Ann?
Carolyn, do I come up here or stand back there?
You are welcome to stand right here.
Okay.
All right.
So thank you, Carolyn, for your extraordinary work. And this is a lovely event. So I actually had the pleasure of participating in 5 programs with the Sophia Institute in the past year. And I could say so many things about all of them, but I'm just going to comment on two. So I was familiar with Dr. Sue Morter prior to even learning that she was going to be here in person. I was just completely enthralled with her work. I sort of stumbled upon it. I was immersed in one of her courses. I'd read her book, and I had started applying her wisdom, her teachings to my own life. And it was kind of revelatory for me on many, many fronts. And it's kind of launched me, and I am a clinician, into this whole field and of energy medicine. And I'm still just so intrigued. And it has really dramatically expanded my consciousness, my quality of life, my firm ability that I can heal myself with pretty much anything the world throws at me. And then I'll also comment on Dr. Jeffrey Rediger, who I also knew, was very familiar with before he came here. I can't remember how I heard about his book, but somehow I did. And it's one of those books I could not get up. To think, and again, I'm a clinician, to think that we in America have the most technologically, medically, scientifically advanced sort of, let's call it healthcare system, right? With so much we know and so much amazing things we can do. We know very little about true healing. Like, what is really happening that is allowing for this healing? And how amazing that Dr. Rediger, he was kind of in the closet studying this for years and finally said, I cannot shut up and be in the dark about this any longer. And, to think, and what did he study? He studied the people that, all the clinicians have said, there's no way, you don't have a prayer, you're going to die, yet these people healed. And no one ever looked, like, what did they do, right? And lo and behold, he identified common threads, things that we can all tap into, right? Plus, it gives you so much hope to think no matter what happens, there is this opportunity that you might, have call it a miraculous healing, but it's real, right? Anyway, so much I could say, but very grateful for the work they do, and boy, does the world need it, right? Thank you.
And I will also just add anecdotally, when I think of heroes and champions when it comes to healing, Dr. Ann is that for a lot of us. So to hear you express these words of support, I certainly think that brings a lot of quality and certainly reminds us of the importance of these kinds of conversations. So thank you so much for your good work in the community. We've been friends for decades. I love you, and I appreciate you lending your support and giving your time as well.
I moved here from California about 4 years ago, and I was introduced to the Sophia Institute through online classes and seminars that were offered, and particularly one interview with the Sophia Institute and Sue Monk Kidd. And so I began attending different programs, and it really helped sustain me through a pandemic that was very, very difficult for all of us, but a little bit different for those of us in the San Francisco area. We were in our homes for about 1.5 years, and having these courses and classes were so life-giving. Last year, the courses that were offered on end of life and death and dying helped me through walking with my mom through her end of life, and really helped get me through that and gave me a tremendous amount of hope and comfort. I think what I appreciate most about Sophia Institute is that you open up this space to do the work of the soul. And we live in this culture that doesn't encourage that doesn't provide that space. And when we talk about the work of the soul, often we focus on that word work in that phrase because it's challenging and it has to be intentional. But I think what Sophia Institute has done for me is reminded me that yes, this is work, and it is joyous. Sophia Institute has brought joy back into my own journey of becoming. and not just in my internal journey, but also communally as we become together. So I'm very grateful for this work.
Thank you so much. Would anyone else like to? Yes. Yes. Here we go, Susan.
I just want to speak to the arc of the Sophia Institute, since I was there when Carolyn had this crazy idea and thought, shall I do this? Shall I leave my secure job? And set about to do this vision that I have. And so I just want to say that I have been a witness to this arc through all these years, and I have so much admiration for you and for your tenacity of your vision and for walking forward and through the walk of this past year, which has been so challenging, as you too have faced the end of life with Hank and kept walking, and then have this to offer to us now. So you, my dear, are an inspiration, and your work is a real reflection of that. Thank you.
And thank you, Susan, for mentioning beautiful Hank. There is such love and community in this room, and I'm so honored to have been a part of it. There is a lot more to share, and you will have an opportunity. We will go outside on the piazza and enjoy refreshments and the conversation of each other. But before we do that, a little more entertainment.
What a beautiful, beautiful program. What an amazing organization. Carolyn, you're amazing. This is phenomenal, and I'm grateful to be a part of this. We're in this time of chaotic change, and we sometimes need to pause and remember that we're living in the constant reminders of the beauty that surrounds us. For instance, as I was sitting there, I heard the birds chirping the entire time, and I couldn't help but to be engulfed while being present in here. It just added to the beauty that existed in here. So I invite you all to listen to these words, once again, meditate on the words, and remember that it is indeed at the core a wonderful world if we continue to live and understand what it has to offer. Thank you. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright, blessed day and the dark, sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the skies, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn so much more than you or I will ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Ooh, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Wow, thank you all so much. Thank you, Zandrina. Thank you, Stephen. What a wonderful send-off. Carolyn Murray, thank you so much for your gracious emceeing of this event. Thank you so much, Drew, for your role, and Sandy for yours, and Anne for your comments, and Sarah Igo for yours, and Susan Hull Walker for yours. Thank you so much. Thank you to Zoe, our Director of Operations, who's never done this before, and did such a great job getting us organized. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Alex Seaman, also on our team. We really appreciate all you offer. Charisse Casetta in the back, who is our financial manager and all she brings, and our board members who are here, and all of you who've been coming for years and years, standing at my side, helping me do the work of Sophia Institute through your own loving support, in friendship, in participation, in contributions that help us carry this work forward. So I'm very, very grateful to each one of you. And if I left anybody out, did I say our current board one more time? Who've come from other places around, those who don't live in Charleston, who've come from other places. All right, now, I know Larry does not want me to step behind, but I'm glad I did that because I want to thank Larry Monteith. He's been doing videography for Sophia Institute for 19 years. A very, very long time. And Betsy Grund for helping today with our Zoom management. So there's a lot for us to yet learn, and we're doing always our best. So thank you, friends. Let's join together out on the piazza again if you'd like, or linger for a few more minutes. I applaud you. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you so much.